Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Mark, and this is English Unleashed for All. Today I want to share something with you that could transform how you think about happiness, success, and what really matters in life. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're chasing the wrong things? Do you work hard for goals that don't actually make you happy when you achieve them? Do you compare yourself to others constantly and feel like you're falling behind? Do you believe that once you get that promotion, that relationship, that amount of money, then you'll finally be happy? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then today's episode will shift your entire perspective. Today I'm going to tell you about a book that challenges everything most people believe about happiness and success. A book based on ancient philosophy, but incredibly relevant for modern life. The book is called The Obstacle is the Way. It was written by Ryan Holiday in 2014. Ryan Holiday studied ancient Stoic philosophy and discovered timeless wisdom that successful people throughout history have used. From Roman emperors to modern entrepreneurs, from ancient philosophers to today's athletes, the principles in this book have helped people overcome impossible obstacles and thrive in difficult circumstances. Now, the original book references many historical examples and philosophical concepts that can be challenging. But today, I will make it simple for you. I will explain the core philosophy in slow, clear English. I will show you exactly how to apply these ancient principles to your modern life. By the end of this episode, you will understand how to turn obstacles into opportunities. You will learn how to remain calm when everything is chaotic. You will discover how to use difficulties as fuel for growth. These principles will help you handle stress, overcome setbacks, and find peace regardless of external circumstances. So, stay with me. Listen carefully. This wisdom has survived for over 2,000 years because it works. And it will work for you too. Let's begin. Ryan Holiday bases his book on Stoic philosophy. Stoicism is an ancient Greek and Roman philosophy that teaches how to live well regardless of circumstances. The Stoics believed that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. The central idea of the book is captured in the title. The obstacle is the way. This seems contradictory at first. How can an obstacle be the way forward? Aren't obstacles things that block our path? Yes, but the Stoics teach us to see obstacles differently. Every obstacle contains an opportunity. Every difficulty makes you stronger. Every problem teaches you something valuable. The book is organized into 3 disciplines: perception, action, and will. These 3 skills allow you to transform any obstacle into an advantage. Let me explain each one carefully. First, let's talk about perception. Perception is how you see and interpret events. The same event can be perceived as a disaster or as an opportunity, depending on your perspective. 2 people lose their jobs. One sees it as the end of the world. The other sees it as a chance to find better work or start a business. Same event, different perception, completely different outcome. Ryan Holiday says that our perception of events is more important than the events themselves. We cannot always control what happens, but we always control how we perceive it. This is incredibly empowering. It means you're never truly powerless. How do you develop better perception? First, stay calm. When something bad happens, your first reaction might be panic, anger, or despair. But these emotional reactions cloud your judgment. They make you see things worse than they are. The Stoics taught that you must maintain calm, regardless of circumstances. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher. He ruled during wars, plagues, and constant crises. Yet, he remained calm and effective. How? He practiced seeing events objectively, without adding emotional interpretation. Something happens. That's a fact. Your emotional reaction is separate from the fact. You can choose your reaction. For example, someone criticizes your work. The fact is, they said certain words. Your interpretation might be, they hate me. I'm terrible. My career is over. But that's interpretation, not fact. An objective perception would be, they gave feedback. Some of it might be useful. I can learn from this or discard it. Do you see the difference? The emotional interpretation causes suffering. The objective perception allows you to respond effectively. Holiday teaches that you should practice seeing things as they are, not worse than they are. Our minds tend to catastrophize. We imagine the worst possible outcomes. We add layers of fear and anxiety to simple facts. Stop doing that. See things clearly and accurately. Another aspect of perception is focusing on what you can control. The Stoics divided everything into two categories: things you control and things you don't control. You control your thoughts, your actions, your responses, your effort. You don't control other people, the weather, the past, many outcomes. Most people waste enormous energy worrying about things they cannot control. They worry about whether people like them. They worry about the economy. They worry about things that happened years ago. This is futile and exhausting. Instead, focus all your energy on what you control. You cannot control if people like you, but you can control being kind and honest. You cannot control the economy, but you can control managing your money wisely. You cannot control the past, but you can control what you do today. When you face an obstacle, ask yourself, what part of this can I control? Focus there. Ignore the rest. This immediately reduces stress and increases effectiveness. Holiday also teaches about finding opportunity in obstacles. Every obstacle hides an opportunity. Your job is to find it. When one door closes, look for the window. When plan A fails, plan B might be even better. Thomas Edison tried thousands of materials before finding the right filament for the light bulb. Each failure taught him something. Each obstacle gave him information. He famously said he didn't fail. He just found thousands of ways that don't work. That's seeing obstacles as opportunities for learning. Many successful businesses started during economic recessions. Why? Because recessions create opportunities. Prices drop, competition decreases. Those who can see opportunity while others see disaster gain huge advantages. You must train yourself to ask, how can I use this? What opportunity does this obstacle create? How can this make me stronger or smarter? These questions change everything. Now let's move to the second discipline, action. Perception is how you see obstacles. Action is what you do about them. You can have perfect perception, but without action, nothing changes. The Stoics were very practical. They believed philosophy must be lived, not just thought about. Holiday teaches that action must be persistent and directed. Many people take action when they feel motivated, then stop when things get hard. But obstacles require persistent action. You must keep moving forward even when progress is slow or invisible. He uses the example of Demosthenes, an ancient Greek who had a terrible speech impediment. He wanted to be a great orator, but he could barely speak clearly. This seemed like an insurmountable obstacle. But Demosthenes didn't give up. He practiced speaking with pebbles in his mouth. He recited speeches while running uphill. He practiced by the ocean, trying to be heard over the waves. Eventually, through persistent effort, he became one of the greatest speakers in Greek history. The obstacle that should have stopped him became the training that made him great, but only through persistent action. When you face an obstacle, you must take action. Not huge action necessarily. Small action, consistent action, forward motion. Even when you don't see immediate results, even when progress is tiny. Keep moving. Holiday also teaches about breaking obstacles into smaller pieces. A huge obstacle is overwhelming, but every huge obstacle is made of smaller pieces. Break it down. Handle one piece at a time. You want to write a book, but it seems impossible. Don't think about writing a whole book. Think about writing 1 page today, then 1 page tomorrow. 1 page per day becomes 365 pages in a year. That's a book. You didn't write a book. You wrote 1 page repeatedly. The obstacle became manageable. You have a massive project at work. Don't look at the whole thing. What's the very next action you can take? Do that. Then the next action. Then the next. Step by step, the project gets done. This approach prevents paralysis. When obstacles seem too big, we freeze. We don't know where to start, so we don't start at all. But when you focus on the smallest possible next step, you can always move forward. Holiday also discusses the importance of process over results. Focus on the process, the daily actions, not the end result. Results are often outside your control. Process is always within your control. An athlete cannot control whether they win the championship. That depends on opponents, judges, luck, many factors. But they can control their training process. They can control showing up every day, doing the work, improving their skills. When they focus on process, results take care of themselves. You cannot control whether you get promoted. That depends on your boss, company politics, many factors. But you can control doing excellent work every day. You can control learning new skills. You can control being reliable and professional. Focus on what you control, the process, and let results follow. Another key principle is using obstacles as fuel. Every obstacle can make you stronger if you use it correctly. Resistance training works this way. When you lift weights, you're creating obstacles for your muscles. The resistance makes them stronger. Without resistance, without obstacles, muscles atrophy. The same applies to life. Obstacles are resistance training for your character. Each obstacle you overcome makes you stronger, more capable, more resilient. Easy lives don't build strong people. Difficult lives handled well build extraordinary people. So when you face an obstacle, think, how is this making me stronger? What skills am I developing? How will I be better after overcoming this? Use the obstacle as fuel for growth. Holiday also teaches about iterate and adapt. Your first approach to an obstacle might not work. That's fine. Try another approach, then another. Keep iterating until you find what works. Flexibility and adaptation are crucial. Many people try one approach, it fails, they give up. But successful people try many approaches. They adapt based on feedback. They learn from what doesn't work and adjust. Edison didn't try one material for the light bulb filament and quit. He tried thousands. Each attempt gave him information. Each failure was a step closer to success. He iterated until he found the solution. When your approach isn't working, don't see it as final failure. See it as information. That approach doesn't work. What else can you try? How can you adapt? Keep iterating. Now, let's discuss the third discipline, will. Will is your inner strength, your ability to endure, your capacity to accept what you cannot change and find meaning in difficulty. Sometimes you do everything right. You perceive obstacles clearly. You take persistent action. And still, you fail. The obstacle wins. What then? This is where will comes in. Will is the ability to handle failure, loss, and unavoidable suffering with dignity and strength. The Stoics taught that some things are beyond our control. People die. Disasters happen. Injustice exists. You can do everything right and still lose. This is reality. Will is accepting this reality without becoming bitter, defeated, or despairing. Holiday teaches about accepting what you cannot change. This doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality. When something cannot be changed, fighting reality only creates suffering. Acceptance creates peace. Your loved one has a terminal illness. You cannot change this. Fighting this reality, denying it, raging against it, these don't help. They only create additional suffering. Acceptance allows you to focus on what you can control, spending quality time with them, making them comfortable, cherishing the time you have. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is wisdom. It's recognizing what is and isn't within your power, then directing your energy appropriately. Holiday also discusses finding meaning in suffering. Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps. He observed that prisoners who found meaning in their suffering survived at higher rates than those who didn't. Those who had a purpose, a reason to endure, a meaning in their suffering, maintained their will to live. Frankl wrote that we cannot always choose our circumstances, but we can always choose our attitude toward our circumstances. We can always find meaning. This is the ultimate freedom that no one can take from you. When you face unavoidable suffering, ask, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this? What meaning can I find? Can my suffering help others somehow? These questions transform suffering from meaningless pain into a crucible for growth. Holiday teaches about preparing for adversity. The Stoics practiced negative visualization. They imagined bad things happening so they would be prepared mentally. This sounds pessimistic, but it's actually liberating. When you've mentally prepared for the worst, you fear it less. If you've imagined losing your job and thought through how you'd handle it, actually, losing your job is less devastating. You'll already have a plan. You're prepared. This doesn't mean dwelling on negative things. It means honest preparation. What could go wrong? How would I handle it? Thinking through these questions makes you less afraid and more resilient. Another aspect of will is amor fati, which means love of fate in Latin. This is the practice of not just accepting what happens, but loving it, seeing every event, good or bad, as necessary and even good for your development. This seems extreme. How can you love bad things that happen? But the Stoics believe that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it. Every event is an opportunity for growth. When you love fate, when you embrace everything that happens as exactly what you need, you stop fighting reality. You find peace. You get rejected from your dream job. Amor fati means thinking. This rejection is exactly what needed to happen. Perhaps it's protecting me from something, or directing me to something better, or teaching me something essential. I love this fate because it's mine, and it's making me who I need to become. This takes practice, but it's incredibly powerful. When you love fate, nothing can truly defeat you because you see everything as ultimately beneficial. Holiday also teaches about maintaining your inner citadel. The inner citadel is your core, your principles, your values, your character. External events can harm your body, your possessions, your reputation, but they cannot touch your inner citadel unless you let them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you can live well in a palace or in chains. External circumstances don't determine your inner state. You determine your inner state. This is your power and your responsibility. No matter what happens externally, you can maintain integrity, dignity, wisdom, courage internally. These are always within your control. This is your inner citadel. Protect it. Strengthen it. Never surrender it. Let me give you practical ways to apply these principles. First, When obstacles appear, pause before reacting. Take a breath. Let your initial emotional reaction pass. Then, look at the situation objectively. What actually happened? What can I control? What opportunity might this contain? Second, ask better questions. Don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "How can I use this? What can I learn? How can this make me stronger?" Questions direct your mind. Ask empowering questions. Third, focus on process and effort, not outcomes. Do your best with what you control. Let go of what you don't control. Judge yourself by your effort and character, not by results. Fourth, practice small discomforts. Take cold showers. Exercise when you don't feel like it. Fast occasionally. Do hard things voluntarily. This builds your will. When involuntary hardship comes, you're prepared. Fifth, find role models who embodied these principles. Read about people who faced enormous obstacles with grace and strength. Learn from their examples. You're not alone in facing difficulties. Others have walked this path successfully. Sixth, help others facing obstacles. When you help someone else overcome their obstacles, you reinforce these principles in yourself. Service to others builds your own strength and gives meaning to your challenges. So, my friend, let me summarize these powerful principles. The obstacle is the way forward, not the barrier. Every obstacle contains opportunity, teaches lessons, and builds strength. You cannot always control what happens, but you always control your perception, action, and will. Perceive obstacles objectively, without emotional distortion. Focus on what you control. Find the opportunity hidden in every difficulty. Take persistent action, breaking large obstacles into small, manageable steps. Focus on process, iterate and adapt when needed. Use obstacles as fuel for growth. Develop your will through acceptance of what you cannot change, finding meaning in suffering, preparing for adversity, and loving your fate. Maintain your inner citadel, regardless of external chaos. These principles work. They've worked for thousands of years. They work for emperors and prisoners, for athletes and artists, for business leaders and students. They'll work for you if you practice them. I challenge you today. Identify one obstacle you're facing. Apply these principles. Change your perception of it. What opportunity does it contain? Take one small action toward overcoming it. Accept what you cannot control and focus your energy on what you can. Watch what happens when you start seeing obstacles as opportunities instead of barriers. Watch your life transform when you realize that difficulties are actually the path to becoming who you're meant to be. Thank you for staying with me through this episode. You just learned ancient wisdom that remains powerfully relevant today. And you did it in simple English. I'm so proud of you. Remember, the obstacle is the way. Every difficulty is making you stronger. Every challenge is an opportunity. You cannot control events, but you always control your response. I am Mark, and this is English Unleashed for All. Until next time, embrace your obstacles, control what you can, and accept what you cannot. Your strongest self is waiting on the other side of your current challenges. Goodbye, my friend.